With Digital Nova Scotia to bring you today's webinar. So we have Hannah Edgar on from Digital Nova Scotia, and Hannah and as well as TNS staff are here to answer any of your questions. Speaking of questions, if you have any in the Q&A at the bottom, just pop them in anytime. We'll ask you throughout the presentation if you have any questions, you need any clarification. All questions are good questions, and we'll get to those, and just pop them in or send us a message in the chat. Very helpful. And we'll also let you know that, again, if you miss anything, if we mention something, we will send it out to you in an email later on today or tomorrow. We'll also send a survey just to make sure that these webinars are effective and you're getting what you need from them, and also ask for your feedback. So without further ado, Ingrid Deon is the owner of WordCraft and specializes in social media strategy and content creation. Started her career in newspaper and radio as a reporter, but made the switch to social media 5 years ago, and started her business in 2019. Currently works with clients such as Nestle Canada, Manulife, Excellence of Brunswick, and other companies. In the first webinar, Ingrid covered creating goals for social media, creating a content calendar, and what to post and where. And today we're going to cover how to engage with your followers, making sense of insights, and boosting and targeting your posts. So really excited to have Ingrid here today. Again, throughout, if you have any questions or concerns, please bring them to us. And thank you, Ingrid. Welcome. So I'm going to turn my camera off, and Ingrid's going to share her screen, and then we'll be able to start her presentation.
Thank you. And so welcome, everyone. I'm thrilled to be here again. And thanks to Tourism Nova Scotia and Digital Nova Scotia for inviting me to give you this presentation. So I've got a lot to cover. There's a lot of information here, so I'm going to get right into it. And there are 3 sections of this presentation, like Nick mentioned. So after each section, we'll stop and take a few questions, and then there will be time for more questions at the very end. So the first section is engaging with your audience. Before I start, engagements are considered likes, shares, comments, clicks, like all of those are considered engagements on social media. And the social media algorithms are all about prioritizing engagement. So your goal, if you want to reach the most people organically, is to get as many engagements as you can get. Social media is social after all, so you want those likes, those shares, those comments, and those clicks. And since the COVID-19 pandemic began, people are changing the way that they're using social media. They not only have like more time to be on social media, but where everything's in flux and always changing, they have a lot of questions about your business. So this is why many companies have seen an increase in engagement on social media in the past few months. Customers are asking a lot of questions. So if you have been receiving a lot of questions, you're not alone. People are seeing this across the board. Sprout Social did a little survey, and they found that companies saw on average in April versus March, 44 more engagements per day across all networks and industries. On a per post level, this evens out to about 7.3 extra engagements per day per post. So people are pretty active on social media right now. So it's a great time to engage your audience. So many of you are in the process of reopening, or you've recently reopened, or you'll be reopening your business soon. So your business doesn't look the same as it did before the pandemic. Like there's no way it's normal. It's not gone back to normal. We've got a new normal now. So you need a reopening strategy. Even your loyal customers who are super familiar with your business, they don't know what to expect when they walk through your doors. They've been to your business hundreds of times, they're loyal, but at this point, they don't know what to expect. So you need to make a plan to clearly communicate what they should expect. What do they need to know before they even visit your business? So I've got a few ideas here of how you can put that strategy or that plan into place. Anticipate the questions that people are going to ask. Prepare some sample responses and share them with your employees or your team or your board, and prepare some FAQs that you can maybe post on your social media or post on your website that answer all of the questions that you've anticipated that people will ask. Like, is there a limit to how many people can be at your location at once? Do people need to book appointments? Or if they had to book appointments before, has that booking process changed? Have your hours changed? Has the availability of your product or service changed? Like, is there a shortage? Is there a surplus? Has your service, if you're a service-based business, has that service changed, and how has it changed? Are you offering contactless payment options? And if so, how can customers make sure that they're set up to take advantage of that in advance? And if you still have options available for people who aren't ready to go out and visit your brick and mortar shop or your location in person, or they're still in self-isolation, make those options clearly available as well. So if you're still doing curbside pickup, if you're still doing door-to-door delivery, if you're still offering takeout, then make sure that those options are still communicated, so that those people who don't necessarily want to expose themselves to the real world yet, that they have options as well. And communicate what your business is doing to keep physical locations clean and sanitary. Like, how often are you cleaning the space? Show photos of your staff cleaning your space, just to instill that confidence. And what precautions are staff taking to ensure that there's a safe environment for the customers? Are they wearing masks? Are they standing at a distance? Are you encouraging customers to wear masks? How are interactions with your staff different from what they used to be? And I've got the last little block here, include photos and videos. And I've seen some companies do this, and I think it's super helpful. It really paints a picture. A video tour of your business will really help people become more comfortable with the idea of going out and visiting you. So if you do a little tour, like this is where you start out. There are spots here where you stand in line. This is what the front desk looks like. There's extra a sneeze shield put in place so that you're protected. It really it paints a picture, and it puts people at ease. It eliminates any sort of confusion. People know exactly what to expect, and that's ultimately what you want. So
Ingrid,
yeah.
can you hear me okay? I just wanted to add one thing here. So, I mean, Nova Scotians are now able to travel within the province, and keeping in mind practices like social distancing, gathering limits, and good hand washing, like you said, are all things. But I wanted to let you know, some businesses still have a question of like, what do I need if I'm going to reopen, or what are my rules? So I just wanted to let everyone on the webinar know that the province of Nova Scotia has created a tool for businesses to develop a plan to prevent the spread of COVID-19. And there's a microsite that we'll share out to all participants on the call today, and we'll share in the email after, that kind of shows what the rules are to reopen it and what you're required to do. Awesome. So I just wanted to kind of say this completely. This is the plan in the background to help if they have any questions of like, I don't even know, or I just want to make sure I'm following the rules. The rules are there, and we'll share them with you by the link.
That's super.
Okay, thanks.
Super helpful. So here's a little acronym. Sometimes acronyms help people remember. So the PET acronym. So plan is to anticipate any issues that could come up, and make sure you have a fix for them. Make sure you have a way to solve the problem. So this is, sort of like I said, where you prepare some sample responses, some FAQs that you anticipate that people will ask. So anticipate any issues, any problems that could come up, and figure out what your plan is to solve those problems. Empathy put yourself in your customer's shoes. We're all struggling. It's a super weird time. Understanding that your customers might feel a little hesitant about visiting your business really goes a long way. And then be transparent. So be open with your customers. And I mean that not only in positive situations, but also when people have complaints. So sometimes that means admitting that maybe you don't have a solution to a particular problem right at this time, but you're going to do your best to come up with that solution. So just admitting that really goes a long way with trust, and people are more likely to, I guess, trust you and want to continue to support you if you are transparent and honest about what's going on. And if you take one thing away today, I want it to be answer everything. If someone asks a question, if someone gives you a compliment, if someone makes a complaint, answer them. They'll appreciate it, and it builds that relationship. People aren't posting their complaint or their question because they want it to just disappear into the internet. They want an answer. And even a compliment, like if someone says something nice, then thank them. It goes a long way. People love it when companies or brands or organizations reply to them. It just makes them feel like they're important, right? And who doesn't want to feel that way? And also comments help you in the algorithms. So the more comments you get, the more engaging Facebook or Instagram or LinkedIn thinks that your post is, and then the more people that it's going to show your post to. So if you reply to those comments start adding up, and then your post will be seen by even more people. So I got draft sample responses, already sort of talked about that, post FAQs, anything you can anticipate. And then you can also use the auto response function. Facebook has this. So if you go into your settings, you can set that up. Use it wisely though. Not everyone, it's not always the right vibe to get a computer, a robot response. But you can use it to set an expectation for a response time. Like if you are feeling overwhelmed with a lot of questions, then maybe say like, thanks, we've received your private message. We'll be responding to messages between this time and this time, or you can expect a response within the next 2 business days, or you can expect a response before the end of the day. But just be confident in that response time. So if you set the expectation that you'll respond by the end of the day, make sure that you actually respond by the end of the day. Don't set an expectation if you can't meet it. But you can also use auto responses to ask for any sort of pertinent info. So if you need to gather people's name and contact details, if you're in a business where people are like booking appointments, or if they're, inquiring about order numbers or something, then make sure that you say like, thanks for your message. Just please pop your date, the date of your order and your order number into this private message, and we'll be sure to respond to it as soon as we see it. That can really help get the ball rolling a little bit on your response time. And then we've got engaging with dissatisfied customers. So on Facebook in particular, I always encourage businesses to hide instead of delete. If there's something that's really pretty inappropriate, or something that you don't want the general public to see. Sometimes if there are complaints, it's good to leave them up because maybe other people have that complaint, or maybe it's a misunderstanding and you want to clarify whatever actually happened. So I wouldn't delete any comments unless they're particularly egregious, like if there's hate speech or, a lot of foul language or something, maybe I would consider deleting it, but usually I just hide things. If you hide a comment on Facebook, then that person can still see their comment, but the general public can't see it. So if they go back to your page to see whether you deleted their comment, they won't see that it's deleted, but no one else will see it. So kind of the best way to get rid of something that's really, really offensive. On Instagram and LinkedIn and Twitter, you can't hide comments. So on Instagram and LinkedIn, if there's something that's really, really bad, you can always delete it. And then on Twitter, the only recourse that you have is to report something. So if it's really, really offensive, you can report a tweet. Or if someone maybe mentions like your staff member's home phone number or something like that, then you can ask Twitter to take it down. Publicly fix facts. So this is when someone makes a complaint or they have a misunderstanding or they make a statement about your business that's wildly inaccurate. Instead of hiding that, I would always post a comment where you're clarifying, clarifying the situation. So this week, I had someone on one of my clients that's a bank. We posted a photo of our flag raising of the pride flag. And someone said that posting photos about pride is not a bank's responsibility. And so instead of hiding that, it is pretty offensive. I just responded and said, actually, we think that, celebrating diversity and inclusion is every company's responsibility, regardless of their industry. Just because we're a bank doesn't mean we can't celebrate diversity and inclusion. So if you publicly fix those facts, then it just looks really great and it makes you look like the hero, because you've given the proper information. Post an empathetic response. As I mentioned, always put yourself in your customer's shoes. A lot of people just want to be heard. And then move the conversation to private. So if there's a complaint and it's posted in a public comment on your Facebook or on your Instagram or on your Twitter, ask that person to send you a private message and resolve it in private. So I can take some questions about engagement if there are some, Nick.
Yeah, that's great. That was a really great section. I really like your response on that Twitter post as well, or Instagram.
Awesome.
We have a question, and it is, when you hide a comment, is the person notified that it's hidden?
So it used to be that if you deleted a comment, the person would get a notification saying that you deleted their comment, which is kind of the worst thing if someone's really cheesed off and then they get a notification saying that the comment was deleted. That doesn't happen anymore, and no one ever gets a notification saying that a comment was hidden.
Does anybody else that's listening today have any questions on the topics that Ingrid just covered? Oh, we got one here. Okay. Is there a share versus a like or a comment? Oh, is a share versus a like or a comment better for algorithms?
Comments and shares are better than likes. They're weighted a bit heavier. So you definitely want shares and comments above likes. And on Instagram, there's a little thing called save, and that is weighted pretty heavily too. So if you post something that's like, a really cool tip or something, and then you can encourage people to save it, that will help you in the algorithm. And it's a little flag under your Instagram picture, and it's called a save. So those are pretty heavily weighted.
Okay, that's really great. We have no other questions, but a comment that very, very detailed and thorough. Good job.
Awesome, thank you.
Yeah.
All right, so I'll get into insights, and I'll try and make this, like, you can get really geeky about insights, and I could be here all day talking about them, but I will try and keep it pretty high level, pretty light. So I'm going to go through 3 different goals that you might have and which analytics you should track in order to tell if you're meeting those goals. So this will hopefully make it clear and not too confusing and not too overwhelming. So if your goal is brand awareness And this is what I would consider, you want to reach customers and you want to start to make an impression on customers. So maybe people don't really know who you are. Maybe you're a new business, maybe you're a new organization, and you want just to sort of start making people aware of who you are. Then these are the things that I would start tracking. Reach, this is the number of people who have seen your post. So you'll see when you look on Facebook or on Instagram or on Twitter, LinkedIn, wherever it is, you'll see reach and impressions. And the difference between those is reach is the number of people, like individual users who have seen your post, and then impressions is the number of times that your post has been seen. So impressions are always higher than reach because some of those individual people have seen your post more than once. So that counts as 2 impressions, but only 1 reach. And then audience growth rate. I know that if you attended my last, the part 1 of the seminar, you would have probably heard me say that it's not about followers, it's about engagement. But followers is a vanity metric, and some people, you know, are really into trying to get more followers. So, and it does, you know, it does help you with your organic reach. The more followers that you have, the more people who will potentially see your post organically. So if you can track that, you can track your growth rate, and that's, you know, your follower growth by week or by month or by quarter, however you want to track it. So that's sort of where I would start out if you're just starting your business or starting, you know, with a new organization. If you want to build your community, so you want to foster a deeper relationship with your customers on social media, then you would think about tracking the engagement rate. So this is like the gold standard of social media. It's the numbers of likes, comments, shares, relative to the number of impressions. And this is always a percentage. The benchmark for most social media platforms is 1%, which sounds so small. But this means that like 1% of the people who have seen your post have taken some sort of action. So they've left a comment, they've shared it, they've liked it. If you're getting more than 1%, then you're doing well. So it sounds like a low benchmark, but there it is. You can look at demographics. So you can see this in your insights on Instagram, on Twitter, and on Facebook. You can see who is following your page. So it'll tell you if you're the percentage of women versus men, the age groups, what location, where they are, which province they're in, which city they're in, which country they're in. This gives you some information as to who is your audience on social media. And then you can look at the best time to post. So both Facebook and Instagram will give you data on the last week. It's based on the last week, and it tells you how many of your followers were online on different days and at different times of the day. So this sort of gives you an idea of what the best time to post would be for your audience in particular. And then the other category would be if you want sales and conversions. So this is maybe you have an online shop and you want to be able to measure which posts are encouraging people to click that link to your shop. So link clicks, the number of times a link has been clicked on social media, and then sales inquiries, maybe how many people are sending you private messages about your product or service. Those are the things that you might want to track. And my one tip would be, like, don't let insights and analytics drive you crazy. Don't overwhelm yourself by tracking too many. Choose 1 or 2, choose 3, whatever that match your goals for your social media, and then keep checking them. So decide whether you want to check weekly, monthly, or quarterly, and consistently check those analytics, and then see how you're doing. And then if you want to change analytics or you want to add some, you're getting more comfortable with it, then you can do that. And I'll do a quick little demo just so you can see on Facebook. So just to see where you find your analytics. So when you go to each of your posts, you can see your reach and the number of engagements. So you can see that on all of your different posts. If you go up here into Insights, you can get a whole bunch of data just on the overview page. So you can export that and you can decide what you want to track. So page data, this is audience details, post data, this is your reach, impressions, your engagement on each post. And then you can get video data and you can export it in an Excel file or in a CSV file, and you can choose your date range. So you can do it that way, or you can look, you play around and click all of these different things and have a look. Like you can look at your followers. If you click this one, you can see how your followers are growing. If you go to posts, then you can see when your fans are online. So this shows you which days are maybe better to post, and it tells you what time is best to post. Keep in mind that this is in Pacific time, so it's 4 hours different. So don't start posting according to when people are online in Pacific time and try and put it in Atlantic time. Are
you able to switch the time?
You can't, no, it's just in Pacific time. And then you'll see all of your posts here. You can get your engagement rate in this dropdown. Tells you how well you're doing. You can sort this by reach or then by impressions. And under people, you can get information about your demographics. So this is where you find out, whether your followers are men or women, where they live, what the age range is, all that stuff. So you can have a lot of fun looking at this. And you can do the same thing on all the different platforms. They have, all the different social media platforms have an analytics or an insights spot on them, and just play around with it and see what you can find out. So I'll take some questions now if anyone has any.
Thanks, Ingrid. So every once in a while, you're not cutting out, but you're starting to sound a little robot-y. So if we have to, we'll just cut your video a bit, just to give you some more bandwidth. So if there's any questions, please send them our way. We did have a few. One question was, can you send us the directions for finding the time insight? I could not find it after the last webinar.
So that must be like the best time to post, probably.
Yeah, Roland, I'm assuming, and you can just clarify, Roland, if that's incorrect. Let's see. Yeah, can you send us directions for finding the time insight? So most likely the best time to post, but if not, maybe we can get some clarification. He just said you just showed it.
Okay.
Oh, that was perfect then.
I can also, I know you guys send out a little recap, but we can put that in the recap.
I guess, and then Roland said you showed it. He said seems strange, but it is under posts.
Yeah, it is under posts. It's very, very odd.
Okay, perfect. Well, there we go. I don't see any other questions. So again, we would encourage any and all questions. This is really great information, some really strong insights. So if there's anything you're confused about or need some further explanations, Ingrid's more than capable of answering them.
Awesome. Cool. All right, so boosting and targeting posts. All right, so you've probably seen this blue boost button on your Facebook page. It's tempting to hit it, but I'm going to encourage you not to do that. It's really easy, the boost button, really easy. You just click it, and that's why it's there, because it's easy. But you don't have as much control over who sees your post when you click that boost button. You're letting Facebook take the driver's seat and deciding who's going to see your ad or your post. You won't get the same bang for your buck as you would if you take the driver's seat. So I'd encourage you to use Ads Manager instead. So on your main page, just the main page of your Facebook, over here, you'll see, if you click see more, you'll see Ads Manager down here. So that's where you want to go. And it's going to look kind of scary. and really techie. Sorry, the bandwidth is a little slow right now, but just gonna let it load so you can see what it looks like. And then I'll get back into this afterwards. But this is what it looks like. And it's a little scary, I admit, but I'll try and make it as clear as possible for what you're going to do with your ads manager. And everyone has access to ads manager. So it's not like you need to get a special thing. And you just need to add your credit card number to your ads manager so that you can buy the ads. The same thing as if you're clicking that blue boost button. So as I said, yeah, go to your homepage, click Ads Manager on the left-hand side. You decide on your budget and you decide on your audience. So first, you start out by choosing your objective. There are more objectives than just these 4, but these are the 4 that I find most people use. So you'll see all kinds of different objectives when you start, and it's very overwhelming, but I would encourage you to use one of these 4 instead of like looking at all of them and getting overwhelmed. So brand awareness is just for general awareness. So sort of like I was talking about in the insights section earlier, brand awareness is when you're starting out, you want people to become aware of who you are. You want to try and reach as many people as possible to just make them aware of your company or your organization. Engagement, this is when you want likes, comments, shares. So if that's your goal, then click your objective. The objective that you'll click is engagement. Traffic is for when you want people to click a link. So if you have an online shop and your goal is to get them to go to that online shop, then you would click traffic as your objective. Video views is another one. So obviously, if you want people to watch a video, then your objective will be video views. Although you can have a video where the objective is engagement. Like maybe you post a video and you want people to engage with it. You want people to comment on it. You want people to like it. Then maybe that's your goal instead of video views. So you start out by picking your objective, and then you start creating your audience. So think of your ideal customer or think of the person that you want to see that post. And then develop your audience around that. So you can get very granular. There are all kinds of different options. You can choose the geographic location. You can target by country. You can target by province. You can target by area. So you can do a radius, like 30 kilometers around Halifax or whatever it is. And you can even get down to like a street. You can target very, very specifically. I wouldn't get too granular because then you're just going to target people on that street over and over again. You're kind of wasting your money and you're blasting those people, spamming them over and over again with your ad. You can choose an age range and a gender. So you can choose men and women or only men or only women, anywhere from 18 to 65 plus. Anywhere. You can choose the whole age range, you can choose a section of it, whatever you want. And then there's demographics and interests. So demographics are the person's education, maybe their relationship, their work, so what position they have. And then there's interests, which is hobbies, the industry that they work in, or the business area that they're in. So you can get super granular. You can target, like men who are interested in lizards, who live within 30 kilometers of Halifax, who own their own business, who also like cats and drink milk. Like you can get super, very, very granular. Or you can get very broad and just target like everyone in Nova Scotia, men and women from the ages of 18 to 65 plus. Doesn't matter what they're interested in. So it's up to you. You decide who you want to target. And sometimes it's good to get granular and sometimes it's good to be broad. So it's fun to experiment and see what the results are. And then you want to look at placements. So when you hit that boost button, Facebook decides where your post, your ad is going to be seen. You don't have any control over that. But when you use Ads Manager, you can decide. So you can decide if you want it in the person's Facebook newsfeed. You can decide if you want it to be seen on the right-hand side of their Facebook when they open it up. You can decide if it's going to appear in Facebook Marketplace. So when people are doing buy and sell stuff, maybe they'll see an ad. You can decide if it's going to be on Instagram. And then there's also this thing called Audience Network, which is when people go to other websites, there are Facebook ads on those websites as well. So I would encourage most people, if you're not on Instagram, like if your business is only on Facebook, then I would unclick the Instagram ads, because you might not, I mean, so maybe you want to be on Instagram as well, but if you don't have an Instagram account, it's kind of odd to have your ad on Instagram. And then you decide on your budget. So you can spend anything. You can spend $5, you can spend $500. And you can do it by a daily budget or a lifetime budget. So a daily budget is pretty self-explanatory. That's how much you're going to spend a day. Maybe you want to spend $5 a day and you want to do that for a week. A lifetime budget is, I want to spend $50 in the next month. And so Facebook will decide you'll spend maybe a different amount every day, depending on how many people see your post. But you decide like how much you want to spend overall for a certain time period. If you have a lifetime budget, so if you have $50 to spend on an ad, make sure that you're not putting it in daily budget. I've seen almost everyone's done that at one point, where they put their lifetime budget in daily budget by accident. And then you can end up spending a lot of money. And then there are also free ways to boost. So there are a lot of Facebook groups out there. There are events and promotions groups. There are small business groups. There are maybe groups for your industry. Maybe there are tourism groups. Maybe there are, women in business groups, or artist groups, whatever it is for your industry. Any group where you think you can find your ideal customer. You can share your posts from your page to those groups and then reach a whole new audience for free. So there are all kinds of these different groups. If you search in Facebook and you search by group and you put maybe a keyword about like Nova Scotia and arts, then you'll find these different arts groups in Nova Scotia, and you can share your post to those groups. They might have thousands of members who maybe have no idea about your organization, but you can reach them for free that way. So that's a great way, a great little hack. I would try to not overuse those groups, because people, might the administrator of that group might not want you to post every single day about your business in their group. So do it when you really want, when you have something to say that you want more people to see, then use those groups. So I'm going to go into Ads Manager and just show you quickly how you would go about creating an ad. So there's this green create button. That's where you start. And hopefully this won't take up too much bandwidth. So this is where I was talking about the different objectives. So there's, brand awareness, traffic, engagement, video views, they're all there. So let's say we want to choose engagement. So it'll ask you all kinds of different questions. You can change your objective from post engagement in general to page likes. So if you want more people to like your page, maybe that's your objective. If you have an event that you want people to respond to, then maybe that's your objective. But let's just stay with post engagement. Then you can rename your campaign to whatever you want to name it to, and then you would continue. So here you can name your ad again, and this is just for your own files. Like if you're like me, where I have different clients, I usually name my ads by client, just so when I'm doing my billing at the end of the month, I know which client ad each bill comes from. So this is where you create your audience. So you can save your audiences as well from the past, but you can also create a new one. So let's say we want not all of Canada, but we want all of Nova Scotia. All right. So it'll show me Nova Scotia. All right. You can also do by, like, if you didn't want to target all of Nova Scotia, you can target Halifax, and then it'll do, it defaults to 40 kilometers radius. So if you want to change it to 30 kilometers, you can use the little slidey and put it down to 30. But let's do all of Nova Scotia. Right. Then your age range, like I mentioned, decide exactly who you want to target. Let's say 25 to 55, all genders, human or women. And then the demographics and interests. So this is where you can have a lot of fun. So you can type in cats. So, oh. All right, so cats. And also they like milk and they like dairy. And small business. Let's see if we can find small business owner. Small business owners. So this is under behaviors. So you can pick all kinds of different things. And then if you pick suggestions, it'll suggest like other things that your audience might really like. So maybe they like pets in general. Maybe their job title is business owner. Maybe they're interested in small and medium enterprises. Like, you can get very, very granular. So let's just say that we're looking for small business owners who like milk and cats. And they're between the ages of 25 and 55, and they live in Nova Scotia. So it tells me here my potential reach is 200,000 people. So there are 200,000 people in Nova Scotia between the ages of 25 and 55 who might be small business owners, might be interested in milk, and might be interested in cats. Great, awesome. So we'll say you can save that audience. And you can name it here, like name it, milk and cats. And then, all right, so now we've done our audience and then our placements. So like I mentioned, you can do automatic placements. This is when Facebook decides where your ad is going to be seen, or you can take control and do manual placements. So this is where you can unselect Instagram if you don't necessarily want your ad to be on Instagram. And you can, okay, so say I want it in the Facebook news feed, but not in the Instagram news feed. And I don't want it in video feeds because it's not a video. And I don't want it in Instagram Explorer because I don't want it in Instagram at all. Then there's like in-stream videos. Maybe, do you want it in videos? Do you not want it? If it's not a video, maybe you don't want it in videos. And then there's instant articles, like there are all kinds of different things. So this is people who are reading articles through Facebook. So if they click a link that goes to a third-party article or something, sometimes there's an ad at the top. So maybe you want it there. And then you can have it on apps. There's all kinds of different possibilities. So you choose, and then you choose your budget. So like I said, daily budget or lifetime budget. So if you have $50 to spend for the month, don't put that under daily budget because then you'll spend $50 a day. But if you want to spend $5 a day, then put it under daily budget. So let's say I want to spend $50 and then I choose when my ad starts. So let's say it starts tomorrow and it goes until, next Friday. So then it tells me my estimated daily results. So my potential reach went from 200,000 to 180,000 when I took away Instagram. And this is my daily reach estimated. So I'll reach approximately 1.5 or 1,500 people to 4,300 people. And 12 to 36 people will engage with my post per day. So these are just estimates based on the people in Nova Scotia who like cats and milk, and my budget. If I change my budget, if I go up to $100, then this will increase. So I'll reach more people and more people will engage because Facebook is sending my post to more people.
Ingrid?
Yeah.
When you say, you've decided, your budget and your schedule, and then you go to upload your ad or image or whatever, do they ever give you any feedback on it in terms of, the image isn't good quality, this doesn't, are there any requirements of what has to be in the ad?
Yeah. So when you go to the next page, so you can either boost an existing post or you can create a whole separate ad. So like you can use an existing post and then you just select one of your recent posts and it'll boost that post. But if your image quality is not good enough, or if you have too much text in your photo, then Facebook will tell you. It'll tell you that the image quality, there'll be like a little, like an error message kind of thing down here that will say that there's too much text in your photo or your image quality is bad. The text in the photo thing is that a boosted post or an ad on Facebook or Instagram should not have more than 20% of the image covered in text. So there are tools online where you can put an image in and it'll tell you what the percentage of the image that is text, just so you can make sure that you're below 20%. If you have more than 20% of your image that's text, then you can still boost it, but Facebook will make you work harder for it. So your money won't go as far. So it'll take more money for Facebook to send that post out to people. And I'm not really sure why the 20% rule exists. Other people on this call might know. But it's there, it's a thing. You can't have more than 20% of your boosted post text in the image. It's a strange rule, but there it is. So yeah, you can say you choose one of your recent posts. Let's say we're choosing this one, and then you can see what it's going to look like. That gives you a little preview of what it looks like on mobile and on desktop and in instant articles. It just shows you a little preview. So if your text, your copy, your image, not your image copy, but your text in the copy box, if it's really long, then it'll be cut off and there'll be like a learn more or a see more. So you want to try and keep your text as short as possible so that people don't have to, because people are not likely to click that see more. So if your most important information is after that, then people aren't likely to see it. You want to make sure that it's short and that all of the information that people need is up there. So that's a quick little look at how to boost a post through Ads Manager. So I can take some questions.
And there are lots of questions.
Okay.
So this is great. So I just wrote one question right when you started. It seems like a while ago. So you said never boost a post on the the Facebook boost button. So is there ever a time when they would do that, or just never?
I wouldn't do it.
Okay, that's solid advice. Okay, let's see. Do you have to be a member of a Facebook group to be able to share an ad to?
Yes.
To the group. Okay.
Yes. So you have to be a member of that group. You can be a member of that group personally. Some groups allow pages to become members. So either way, you can either share it as yourself. So it could be like Ingrid shared this post by whatever it is, by Wordcraft, or if I could also join some groups as my page, as my business, as Wordcraft.
Okay, let's see. So looks like we have 8 questions here. So I'm just going to, how does the granularity affect the cost of the ad?
Let's go back here. So you decide on your budget no matter what. Like there's no set cost to an ad, but if your audience is really granular, then your potential reach goes down. So maybe if I added a few more things in here, or if I made the age range smaller, or if I chose only women, then the potential reach would be smaller. And then maybe my money wouldn't go quite as far. So right now, with a $50 budget, I have a potential to reach 1,500 to 4,300 people. If I added only women, then my estimated reach with that $50 would be fewer people because my potential audience is smaller. So maybe you'll get fewer engagements, but you're reaching a more specific audience. I don't know if that helps, but either way, you decide on your budget. It doesn't matter. You pay whatever you want.
Okay. Let's, I'm going to rapid fire these ones because there's so many, but if that didn't answer their question, that's great. Why can my business page only share and tag certain groups and pages? What limits this?
There are groups that only allow people to become members and not pages to become members. So if it's a group that only allows people, then you have to share your posts as you, not as your page. There may be some groups that don't allow like the general public, even if you're a member of the group, they don't allow people to create new posts. So that's possible. I'm trying to think of other reasons that you wouldn't be able to do that. I think that's it.
I think that answers the question, but if not, I mean, they can always check back in. I have a friend say that once you paid for a Facebook ad, that their regular post had a much smaller reach, and it seemed to them that they were trapped into always paying to boost their posts or buy an ad. Are you aware of any statistics regarding this?
I mean, social media is a pay-to-play platform at this point. They want you to buy ads. They want to make money, right? It's a business. So if you boost your post, you're going to reach more people. Unless you create a post that's organic and doesn't have any budget behind it and it just goes viral, then maybe you will reach more people. But organic reach has gone down quite a bit. So that's why you need to create posts that are engaging. So posts that have a call to action where they're asking people to, you're asking people to like this if you agree, or you're asking, leave a comment if you can relate to this, or answer a question like, what do you think about this? What's your go-to blank? What's your favorite blank? Or, tag a friend who would find this helpful. Share this post for us so we can reach more people. So if you include a call to action, then you're likely to reach more people. That will help you get more engagement. But if you pay for it, then you'll get that engagement easier, I guess, without trying so hard. So if you're creating posts that aren't engaging and you're not boosting them, you're not going to reach a lot of people. If you're creating organic content, you need to make sure that it's engaging. I guess that's the whole thing. It's a pay to play kind of forum.
Okay, that makes sense. What is the cost per Facebook impression?
It totally depends.
Okay.
It varies. Yeah, it depends on the size of your audience. Like I said, like this potential reach here, it depends on that. And it depends who you're targeting. It can vary.
Okay. So let's say 200,000 people in Nova Scotia, provided they are on Facebook, right? How do we reach those not on Facebook?
Then you would create other kinds of ads. So you would like do Google ads or something. But if you're creating Facebook ads, you're creating them for people who are on Facebook. And if you're creating Instagram ads, then they're for people who are on Instagram. But you can create ads like Google ads, or, you know, I'm not gonna, I can't go into all that stuff, but yeah, there are all kinds of ads on the internet.
Perfect. Actually, I got another question from Loretta. I've been approached by Google Ads. Do you have an opinion on whether or not this is a good advertising platform?
It's not really my wheelhouse. I'm more social media. So I'm sure there's other people who know more than I do about Google Ads, unfortunately.
I'm assuming that my own business could hire a local business to look after their social needs for them. What kind of costs would typically be expected, and where could I find the names of these businesses?
So it varies greatly. This is what I do for a living, but it depends on the social media manager. There are a lot of us out there, maybe not a lot, but there are quite a few. Where can you find us? So I guess you can just Google, you know, like social media management in Nova Scotia to try and find someone locally. I know Nova Scotia Business Inc. has a directory of people who do this kind of thing. Where else can you find us? Yeah, I'd say Google. You can look on Facebook to try and find someone, but the cost does vary a lot. I would say you would spend, you know, for a month's worth of someone who's creating your content, who's engaging with your audience, doing that community management stuff, scheduling posts, optimizing ads, all of that stuff. You're likely to spend anywhere from, I don't know, 400 to 1,000 a month probably on social media management. And you can go through digital agencies as well. That's where I come from. I used to work at an agency. It's going to be more expensive than getting an individual person who, you know, runs their own business like I do, because I eliminate that middleman of having a digital agency that's collecting extra fees. So yeah, there are lots of digital agencies, and they're great because you'll have like someone who is an expert in social media, someone who's an expert in copywriting, someone who's an expert in design, all in one, but it's going to be a lot more expensive.
That's great feedback. We also shared Digital Nova Scotia has social media consultants, so we shared that link as well. We had a message from one of the people that you answered the question. They said, thanks so much for the information. This is going to be very helpful, and I'm excited to get going, which is exactly what we want to hear. That's why we're doing this. Yeah. So one person said, I'm afraid of making an ad. Does it have to be an ad, or can I just post a photo of one of my products, a description, and call to action?
Yeah, that is an ad. Like that's what it is. You can, so I showed how to boost an existing post, but you can create an ad here instead. And all you do is, you know, it's going to be very easy if it can load for me. So a single image, let's say you just want, you know, a photo of your work. So you would add that image this way. It'll bring up, you can upload your image here. It'll bring up some existing images that you have, but you can upload a new image. I don't know if these are going to load, but okay. So let's say that we're choosing this one. It's got probably not too much text, I don't think. I don't know if this is going to work. It's not going to work. All right, but you choose your image, and then you have some text. So you would write, you know, whatever it is that you want, your call to action, your what you want to say about your image. You would type it there, try and keep it short again. It says we recommend 125 characters or fewer. So this is pretty short. Like you want to get right to the point. And then there's a call to action button. So it can be like learn more, shop now, get a quote, send a message, whatever it is you choose. And then you can also have a link. So if you've chosen traffic as your objective, you want people to go to your website to see more of your products. Then you put your website in there and that's added to your ad. And then you're good to go. That's it. So yeah, it's pretty easy once you get into it.
Perfect. Can you give us an example of a free tool that you can drop an image in to see what percentage of the image is text?
Yeah, I think Facebook has one. Text overlay tool. Oh no, that's not it. It's the other one. Image text check, I believe. So yeah, you would upload an image right here and it'll tell you if it's okay or if it's like if it has a lot of text, then it's high and your advertisement might not run at all. If it's a little bit over 20%, then your reach might be slightly lower. If it's like quite a bit more than 20%, it's a medium and your reach may be much lower. So this is where I would go. So I can share this link with the folks at Tourism Nova Scotia when they send out that the future message that everyone will get with some links and information.
Oh, that's great. Thank you. When you purchase an ad, does it still show up on your regular feed as well?
So if you're just boosting an existing post, so if you go through Ads Manager and you do the thing where, hang on, where is it? So use an existing post. So this is a post that's already on your feed that you're boosting. Then it's going to still be on your feed. However, if you're creating an ad from scratch right here in Ads Manager, that one won't be on your feed. So it won't be on your wall. No one will see it there, but it'll be an ad that is just disseminated to people, the people you're targeting.
With Facebook, is a video or a GIF better to use? Do they work with Ads Manager?
Yeah, videos perform really well. So if you have a great video and you can use the objective, the ad objective of video views, it's likely to perform quite well. And again, when you're creating your audience and you're creating your budget, Facebook Ads Manager will always tell you how many people are likely to see your video. So you can like move things around, change your audience a little bit, change your budget a little bit to try and get the right mix of reach and engagements or video views or whatever it is. But yeah, you can do videos right in here.
Is there an ideal video length?
Yes, probably. I know the stats are for 3 seconds and 10 seconds, and I'm not sure what the ideal length is, but there has to be one. Sorry.
Okay. We can do a little research, and if we have any information, we'll share that.
Yeah.
Let's see. Let's say you added must like wizards. How much will your reach diminish?
So okay, good question. Was it lizards or wizards?
Wizards, the magical kind.
Okay. So I'm going to play around with this and see. I'm going to edit this. I'm going to take out these other things. And I'm just going to put wizards or wizardry or something. Wizard employer. Interests, wizard. So, and then I'm going to update this. Great. going to change my audience size, I think. So fewer than 1,000 people. There are fewer than 1,000 people in Nova Scotia who are on Facebook between the ages of 25 and 55 who are only interested in wizards. So this is why if you choose like milk and cats, and if you choose a few different things, then your audience is going to be broader, because it'll be like people who are interested in milk or cats. But if you only choose one interest and it's just wizards, then you can only you only have the potential to reach people who are specifically interested in those wizards.
Just for an update, it actually was lizards upon correction, but interesting about the amount that did like wizards too.
I know.
Well, I don't know. I must have thought
Nova Scotia like wizards.
Yeah. But how about lizards? Sorry, Lindsay.
Are we interested in how many people like lizards? Let's see. All right. So 2,300 people. There are more people interested in lizards than wizards in Nova Scotia. You heard it here first.
Interesting. Perfect. All right. Well, thanks for that clarification. My apologies to everyone. So we had another question, very interesting about the amount of text. I've always found when I created a Canva image that it seemed to have less of a reach. Regular post, not a paid ad. How can you balance where to put the vital info, like your phone number, the time you're taking calls, etc., when we put these sorts of things into the type part of a post as compared to the image itself? I've noticed the reach is smaller as well. Help.
Oh, so if it's an organic post, so this means that, you know, there's no boosting budget behind it. It's just a post that you've created. You can have as much text in the image as you want. So I wouldn't worry too much about the amount of text. It's only when you're boosting a post or you're creating an ad that the text in the image comes into play and will hurt you if you have too much of it. So if you're doing an organic post, just don't worry about it. Although this person, they said that they found that just organic posts, they were finding less reach with a lot of text. Is that what it was?
Yeah, I guess they're having trouble, and Roland can maybe add a little to this since we're covering it, but so they have the amount of text, and when I guess it's around Canva, because when you create like, you know, a post or whatever. So how can you balance where to put the vital info when you put these sorts of things into the type part of a post as compared to the image itself? I've noticed the reach is smaller as well.
I'm thinking maybe it's not about the amount of text, and it might just be about the content instead. There are just so many factors, or it could be like the time of day that you've posted, or it could be the time of day or the day. There are so many different reasons that the reach could be lower. It might not have anything to do with the text. But if it's an organic post that doesn't have budget, or it doesn't have any ad spend behind it, then feel free to put as much text in the image as you want, or put the text in the text box. Although be mindful of the fact that if you have a lot of text, again, there's that see more that people have to click to open it up. Not as many people, like not a lot of people will click that. They'll look at what they see right away. So keep the most pertinent info right at the beginning, or keep your text really short so that there's no see more button. Or you can also like make sure that the first line is really attention grabbing of the copy in the little text box. Make sure that the first line is very attention grabbing. Maybe use some emojis, maybe use some capital letters, whatever it is, so that people are like, oh, what's this all about? I want to click that see more so I can see what the rest of it includes. That might help out.
I think that was helpful information. Considering Facebook has made it known that it's their intention to keep users engaged on its platform for as long as it can, how effective can Facebook be in driving traffic to your website when their goals are contrary to the advertiser?
So if you're creating an ad where your goal, your objective is traffic, so you want people to click a link, then Facebook will encourage people, like they'll find people in your target audience who are likely to click that link. Facebook, of course, wants its users to stay on Facebook, as the person stated. So in an organic post, maybe they won't be, you won't be as likely to reach people who are going to click that link, or maybe Facebook won't show it to as many people. But if you're putting any sort of budget behind it, any sort of ad spend behind it, Facebook will find people who will click that link. That's the point. So maybe you need to do a little ad, and you can just spend $20 on an ad, or $10 or whatever it is, and you'll always get some sort of return. Maybe it won't be a huge return. Maybe not, maybe hundreds of people won't click your link, but a few people will click it. So even if your budget is small, you can still reach people with an ad.
Perfect. Is it a fact that Facebook limits the reach when you put things like phone number, times, dates in the written part of your post?
I don't think so.
Okay, not a fact. All right, that is it. We had this nice comment from Wendy. She says that the seminar and part one have been incredibly useful, impactful, of great tips and lessons, very engaging and knowledgeable. Thank you, Ingrid. I hope to see more webinars. Wish I had the budget to hire you, but I don't. So luckily these are here. These opportunities are here for people like Wendy to gather some really great information.
Yeah, and I also share a lot of tips on my social media. So I'm on Instagram. I'm Wordcraft Ingrid, all one word. You can find me on LinkedIn. I'm Ingrid Deon. And then on Facebook, I am Wordcraft there as well. So it's word-craft. So I do share a lot of tips. So you can get free tips that way.
Awesome. We had somebody else wrote regarding text and images, because we do have a lot of people here that own businesses, and they'd be doing advertisement, and they would just say text and images, less is more. No need to repeat vital info that's in the description of your main page, and no need to repeat the info you've written in your text box copy. Picture text, the post copy, and the page details all work together. That was from Jennifer McLeod. That's great feedback, Jennifer.
Love that.
This webinar has been incredibly helpful. Are there any programs or specific courses that you've taken that you would recommend? And do you offer social media training as part of your business offerings?
Yeah, I do. So yeah, I have a website. You can reach out to me through my website. It's word-craft.ca. I learned a lot of what I know. One was, on the job. So like I said, I worked at a digital marketing agency. I was the manager of social for 3.5 years. And I worked on a lot of big brands. I still work with some pretty big brands right now, but I learned a lot on the job. And then I'm always, I listen to a lot of podcasts that are about social media. My favorite one is Buffer's The Science of Social Media. The episodes are pretty short. They're about 15 minutes, but that is my #1 favorite podcast. I learned so much from it. And then there are other blogs that you can follow. There's a Social Media Examiner. That one's really good. And a lot of the social media management tools have blogs. So like Hootsuite, Agora Pulse, Sprout Social, they all have a Buffer as well, HubSpot. They all have blogs where they share a lot of really amazing information. So yeah, there's a lot you can learn for free.
That's great. I don't see any more questions. That was really great engagement. So thank you so much, Ingrid. Again, we'll be sharing this information later today or tomorrow morning. And we've received really great feedback from people here. So, it keeps coming in. Thank you so much. Really helpful, relevant. I learned so much about social media. So I just encourage everyone today as well, just to fill out that quick survey monkey questionnaire, just to give Ingrid and ourselves some feedback. So that's excellent information.
Awesome. Well, thank you everyone for attending.